Hello everyone! This video is different from usual, as you can probably already tell. It's also one that I am a lot more nervous than usual about making, which is actually quite funny because I have such an easy time putting sponsorship messages in videos, but this one feels a lot more awkward, because not only is it a dedicated shilling video, it's also my own product that I'm shilling to you today. It is by far the biggest project that I've ever worked on, and in order to make it happen, I need your support. It's a book, one that I hope will become a long-running series titled Something Like Philosophy, being a symposium of military privation and suffering. And it's right there in the title, on the tin. This book is going to be a series of articles, a symposium or an anthology series, all by different authors, myself included of course, about the human element of military history. I'm just going to read off of the tentative back cover that I have here, because I think that it'll be a much better way of getting the point across. It's a little melodramatic. Okay, maybe just it's liable to alterations and the like if anyone has any recommendations. Work in progress, but I do think that it gets the overall point across pretty well. It reads, "War is hell. This has been a constant principle throughout all of history. Whether righteous or evil, limited or total, warfare at its core is a form of mass, organized killing. It is a form of horror. Something Like Philosophy is an exploration of war's sorrowful hellscape. In presenting subjects from a wide background and by a variety of authors, it is hoped that this universal truth of warfare might be better appreciated by those who read military history. At the core of this series is an understanding that there is far more to warfare than maps, uniforms, and weapons. It does not seek to judge its chosen figures, merely to tell their stories that we might understand and learn from them, lest we forget." So, from a technical standpoint, what this all means is that I've located 7 authors, plus myself, so 8 altogether, to write articles for me on topics of their choice within this wider theme, this wider scope of war's sorrowful hellscape, as I put it. If you follow any of my social media, then you know that I've already announced most of those topics and authors publicly, doing so slowly over time. But without giving away any more names just yet, this first volume of Something Like Philosophy is going to have articles ranging from massacres during the American War of Independence, particularly the of a series of Moravian Christian Native Americans, all the way up to the frozen interiors of strategic bombers during the Second World War. I'm really happy to say that the authors themselves are, as well, coming from a very diverse set of backgrounds, which is exactly what I hope will continue to be the case if this becomes a series. Some of them are professional academic historians with many books under their belt and blah, 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 PhDs and all that. Some of them are just students of history who are, still going through university and all that. 1 or 2 of them are individuals who have just loved history all their lives, but haven't really had the opportunity until this point to exercise that interest in a professional capacity. Some of them are reenactors. It's a whole mixture, right? And in the name of complete transparency, just to get this across as well, each of these authors, for their articles, for the being contributed to the overall book, I'm paying each of them $500 for their contributions of between 4,000 and 10,000 words each. So if the book is able to earn at least enough to cover those costs, well then I would like to expand the scope of the project even further with future volumes. I'd like to have more contributors per book. I'd like to have a wider range of topics, getting into more like ancient and medieval history. I'd love to be able to invite like current service members and veterans, for conflicts that are like within living memory or even, taking place to this day and whatnot. And the entire point of like how I'd go about so is I want to be able to open it up to regular applications rather than just being invite only, which is how I handled this first volume. So I'd have like applications available for anyone to submit like a project proposal, and then if you're accepted, you get the paid commission of the article that you proposed. Again, I'd want to accept authors of merit from all walks of life. You wouldn't have to be a professional academic to make that submission. Sorry, this is becoming a little rambly, even though I have my script and my bullet points marked down there. I've also decided that given the nature of the subjects being discussed, that even though right now, currently, I have the Native Oak Fund, I usually have a 10% profit share, basically, of all the money that I make on the YouTube channel that goes to charity. That's paused right now for personal financial reasons. Regardless, this book, the overall project, is going to be exempt from that pause. So regardless of when I can start those regular charity polls back up, if you follow the community tab, you've maybe taken part in some of those. Regardless of when that can be started back up, no matter what, 10% of the profits from this project are always going to go to charities as voted on by you, the audience. I figure given the nature of it talking about, suffering and privation and trauma and everything, it's best that I not profit too much from it, I guess. So anyways, that's the overall idea. Before I sign off, though, in case you're wondering after the title of the series, something like philosophy, it seems kind of weird, out of place maybe. It comes from, in my opinion, an incredibly powerful account by one of my favorite authors from the 18th century and the 19th century. When he describes in one of his books basically the experience of finding the body of a very close friend of his after a skirmish during the War of 1812. It's actually a skirmish in the New Orleans campaign, which inspired my own article. I'm going to be writing for it. But he described that process basically as, quote, "When in the act of looking for him, I had flattered myself that I should be able to bear his loss with something like philosophy. But when I beheld him pale and bloody, I found all my resolution evaporate. I threw myself on the ground beside him and wept like a child." And those words, I think, really just encapsulate perfectly the meaning of this entire project. That human element, which is common across all of history, whatever the means of a war being waged, whatever the cause is, whatever any of the factors around it, right? No matter what, there is that core human element which is the same across the board, and it is that human element which I'm seeking to bring out and help to put on the stage, as it were, through this project. So if you are interested in that idea, in this project, if you'd like to see this book become not only a thing in and of itself, I have to pay the authors and everything, trying to raise the money for it. If you want to see it become a series and everything, even if you just... Oh. Hello? Let the record show that I was pulling off this entire video as a one take, but then I just got an important phone call that I was expecting, and I couldn't ignore it. Apologies for that. Anyways, where was I? If you're interested in the project, you want to see it become a series and all that, even honestly, if you just really want to help to support myself and alongside myself, a number of excellent historians, not to toot my own horn, I kind of hope that this series can, alongside becoming its own thing, sort of become like a quasi scholarship type thing, because if I'm bringing students and applicants and blah blah blah, a good excuse to get them experience with academic writing, an ability for them to write down oh, I've been published, and getting some literally some money in their pockets. Obviously that's not the core focus. The core focus is to let's be honest, create a revenue generating asset for myself, because YouTube is super unreliable half the time. I'm going off script. This is dangerous. But I like to think that that's sort of a little side benefit. It's a consequence of the format of the overall project. So I like that. Again, this is the charity thing. I'm not going to boast about the charity thing too much, because ultimately I'm in this for my own profit as well. But whatever. Sorry. If you want to see the project become a reality, if you want to support myself, and yes, a number of excellent historians and the charity stuff and everything, then you can consider, please do consider, pre-ordering the book by clicking on the link in the description down below. And my teleprompter isn't updating now because I went way off book, so let me just go ahead and give a little whoop, scroll. I'm hoping that by being so real, it becomes like endearing and you'll all be more inclined to help me out. I am being, see, look, I do have a teleprompter right there. Anyways, we're going to go back to it. And if you decide, yes, to lend your help here, the pre-orders are being accepted at a discounted rate. So buying it now will save you like a couple of dollars and also get you free shipping. These pre-orders are also limited to the amount that I actually need to pay for the project. So go and visit Secure Your Copy today. The teleprompter still isn't updating, but I'm pretty sure that I've covered everything. So yes, to all of those who decide to support the project, to support me, to help this all to become a glorious victory, thank you all really, thank you all very, very much. Being honest, the teleprompter has not updated. It's all backwards, so you won't be able to see it, but if you want to pause and really go, this is, the teleprompter isn't even there now. Legitimately, thank you very, very much. I hope that this project becomes the beginning of me being able to do more than just make YouTube videos, if that makes sense. I'm hoping that I can, for example, like advertise less and less with like traditional sponsorships, but like advertise my own products on videos a bit more. I'm hoping to be able to offer something a little bit more to the world of history, as it were, than just YouTube videos. Financially becoming more independent of YouTube would be very advantageous. Again, helping out other historians. I think there's a lot of stuff that is all sort of going into this project and many other projects that are like it down the road. This is, I hope, really just the beginning of a dramatically expanded future for the channel, for the Native Oak, for myself. So for your support, whatever the reason why you decide to pre-order the book, just because you like the idea of the book. I hope that's the reason why. You're not just doing it to support me. I hope you like the book. But regardless of whatever the reason is, thank you all. I promise the book also won't be so rambly as all this. But thank you. Thank you very much, my dear viewer. And, well, I have, thus I am, and I hopefully shall ever remain your most humble and obedient of servants.